Hello everyone and welcome to a new edition of Today's Youth, and today we will be talking about art and the art of graffiti in specific, and we will be joined here at the studio by two of our guests from Upper Egypt who will tell us more about their experience with art, but right after this short break. Welcome back. وبنرحب معانا النهارده.
We would like to welcome our guests اسمها جميل and Ali Abd al-Fattah. It's nice to have you here in our studio. Hello. Firstly, we would like to know how did you start the fine art and painting murals since 2011. Would you please tell us more about your experience with graffiti? We started since our first year in the college. We started painting on streets in Aswan. I am a graduate from Fine Art Cairo University, and we started with the idea of painting on the streets. Instead of having an indoor decor, we thought about painting on the streets. So we dealt with several institutions like the City Council, NGOs. We cooperated together to draw many portraits. I gathered a group of my fellow students in college, and we were provided with all materials. Of course, we started with painting on the walls, and then I started to develop more each year, and finally I started painting on the buildings, and I cooperated with us. There was a cooperation between you and some NGOs, as well as the governorate and the city council, in order to provide more privileged and experienced paintings. We worked together with other artists and with those people who are talented. We were introduced to several people, and our main game was boosting tourism. We wanted to express and portray our heritage, our culture, our social background. We wanted all people to portray the happiness of the citizens, and I tried to focus on the Nubian culture and African, as well as the African culture. Another thing also, since Aswan was announced as the capital of African culture, this of course increased the beauty of the city and increased its importance. So we started focusing on Nubian art, on Nubian paintings, because the African and Nubian art is similar, whether in color, in characters. So there are similarities between African and Nubian art. Yes. And now We have lots of examples in various sites in Aswan, and the last idea we executed was very powerful. We painted 130-meter wall. We painted many faces, about 300 faces of old people around the world. It's like an entrance of the city of Aswan that welcomes all people from around the world to the city, to the capital of African culture. Of course, it was a strong boost to tourism. I painted the faces of the locals and the foreigners. The last project I worked with Mrs. Nancy, the supervisor on our project, and we worked with Uganda. We tried to spread the culture of Uganda and to boost the cooperation between Uganda and Egypt and exchange the heritage and culture between them. Uganda is a very nice country. So firstly, it's very distinguished by it has about 70% of gorillas. It has many species of gorillas, and I saw many of them. So the culture of Uganda is very similar to the Egyptian culture. We cooperated together in a very important event, and I painted gorillas on murals. I also portrayed the nature of Uganda, the women of Uganda, using black, yellow, and red. They were very happy with my portraits, and we tried to strengthen the relationships between between ourselves and between both countries. Of course, art can work as a messenger, can of course make can boost and exchange cultures between people. And Ali, would you please tell us about your start when you first started the fine art? Firstly, of course, Maha and I, we were very talented from our youth. We participated a lot while we were at school in the painting fairs. Of course, this was a boost for us. When did you start first to paint? Since I was in 4th grade. It was a very boost. Who noticed your talent? Your family, the school? I belong to an artistic family. My father used to draw sketches, and we started to continue his work. Also, my older brother is an assistant professor at Fine Art College, and he encouraged me to continue in the same field of fine art, and I specialized at carving. Of course, we started our project since our first year at college. We engaged in many projects of Raven Street Art Aswan, which Maha talked about. It's a portrayal and expression of the African culture specifically. We also, the project of Open Art Museum is different a bit. It was established first project in Luxor, and we thought about turning the city into an open art museum. Firstly, the governorate thought about decreasing the number of buildings in order to increase the space of the architects and monuments in Luxor. So we started to think about turning the street into an open art museum. Instead of demolishing a building, we turned it into a museum. So we worked inside the governorate. We worked on connecting the east and the west. We worked on also means of transports which are available for tourists. We also painted on the walls of buildings. A large number of our group participated. We were about 25 students from the Fine Art College. and Maha was included in our team. Of course, there were two assistant professors helping us, including my older brother. We started this project since 2013, and we are continuing it till now. Maha told us about the experience of increasing the cultural relations between Uganda and Egypt. You participated. Of course, I participated in this project. We started working on the idea itself. We thought about boosting the relations between both countries. So we learned a lot about the culture of Uganda, which is famous for Uganda is famous for its forests, its colors. So we worked on this and portrayed it in our paintings and worked on the spot. We worked live in order to portray the culture of Uganda, to express it and to expose it for the Egyptians. Maha, you are going to draw something for us. What are you going to draw? Firstly, when I enter any place, I like painting the face of a character that is making an effect, and that is a character that is influencing the place that exists in it. So I'd like to draw a sketch of a character that I haven't been introduced to, and I hope you like the painting, of course. Please go ahead.
Ist eine Tür, die aus der Hölle führt. Hinter dieser Tür liegt ein Weg aus Stein und dieser Weg bringt dich zum Paradies. Da ist ein Tor, doch man lässt dich hier nicht rein. Hinter dem Tor herrscht Angst. Warum klopfst du hier an? Warum kommst du hier lang? Bevor die Angst eure Herzen trennt, kommt und reicht euch die Hand. Eine Welt, eine Heimat. Stell dir vor, es geht einfach. Träume helfen uns weiter. Eine Welt, eine Heimat. Eine Welt, eine Heimat. Eine Welt, eine Heimat.
Enlève ces garde-fous autour de moi. Ce qui m'arrive est vraiment plus fort que toi. Arrête de me parler de résolution. Aide-moi plutôt à trouver des solutions. Bakanduni kamelewa. Afumu komene ami. Bunyu sayon tok sunika. Nemjitu yirmande.
Eine Welt, eine Heimat. Stell dir vor, es geht einfach. Träume helfen uns weiter. Eine Welt, eine Heimat. Eine Welt, eine Heimat.
Nito watale sudi.
Eine Welt, eine Heimat.
Nito watale sudi. Eni watale ko sudi. حبيبي يا عيني مهما يطول البعد بيك. حبيبي يا عيني ساكن فينا وساكنين فيك. قربك نعمة تحييني طول الليل. شايلك في عيني انتي احلى سنين جايين. انا قلبي معاك طول ما عيوني شايفاك. الحمد لله بيتي ده بيتك كل ورود العالم فيه. الدنيا بتسكن فيه.
Hands up for one love. Peace is more than just one word. Shoulder to shoulder. Hands up for one love. Hands up. Eine Welt, eine Heimat. Eine Welt, eine Heimat.
Ali,
while she's drawing, we can speak more about your participation in very important events in Aswan. I know that there is a community project for in developing the cultural development of the city. Of course, we participated in several projects in Aswan, and since it became the capital of African culture and the capital of African youth, we try to document this through our murals on the streets, and we painted these murals. One of our projects which Maha participated in was painting on the walls of the buildings, portraying the most influential characters that influenced Aswan, like Mina, King Mina. Then she worked more and drew more on the streets of Aswan, which included the 300 faces of old people around the world, all locals from Egypt, and as well as the tourists abroad. These were among the most important things we worked lately. People think that graffiti was introduced lately, but we know that it started at the ages of the pharaonic ages. Of course, the ancient Egyptians had lots of graffiti on the walls of their temples. Since you studied art, would you please tell us about graffiti art? Graffiti art is about documenting the phase of a certain phase and its historical events. I think before the age of the pharaohs, all people thought about documenting what life experiences and that they go through. Then we entered the age of the pharaohs, and then the other ages, people started to study graffiti, and they also started to study fine art. There are, of course, graffiti people drew for certain things and for certain reasons. However, it is considered a documentation. It's like a fair, in an open fair for the people in every place. There are also lots of events that were held on Aswan, especially the African Arab Forum for Youth. Of course, it's very important, and it, of course, boosts Aswan as the capital of African culture. It will provide more opportunities for the youth. It will, of course, act as a mark. It will provide an advertisement and marketing for the place itself. Of course, it's a very strong thing. Did you follow the youth forums during last period, the World Youth Forum, and the importance of these forums? Of course, they are very important for providing an incentive for the youth to work and to develop more. Then we see workshops, we see institutions that help the youth. They have more incentives to work on, and we were among the people who worked on ourselves. We worked on the African culture in Aswan, and it was one of the ideas we got from the forums themselves, and it was one of the main incentives for us. Maha, how is the portrait going? We would like to see the portrait itself. Now I'm portraying the features. I'm going. There's only the background. Okay. We are also talking about Aswan as a cultural capital. How do you see the future of Aswan? I think the future is going to be fruitful, especially after the World Youth Forum. And since it's the capital of African culture, it will provide a huge opportunity for boosting the culture and for providing opportunities for the youth through encouraging them to engage in the community itself, especially youth work and like to work a lot and to put their energies in use their energies in a very fine art and very good work. Would you please tell us about your idea concerning increasing and boosting the tourism between Aswan and Africa? How do you see it? I see it from an artistic point of view through my field of work. I think that art is a very good, fruitful means of documenting that documents and expresses the culture and the culture of many countries. You can we can work on a very strong idea, an international idea about the painting a mural of a very influential character that works for peace. So we wanted to portray that character and to portray it on a large mural in order to enter the Guinness Records to express more. Especially we have chosen to portray it in Aswan because for Africa and the world, in order to show that Aswan is very symbolic, and we wanted to portray that African character and portray it on a huge mural so as to allow all the world to perceive it. This was the main point we are working on right now, and we hope that we finish it. What's your role as youth in Aswan, Luxor, in boosting tourism? Our role, of course, can be determined specifically. However, I think that we have a very important role in introducing cultures, in making boosting and boosting tourism, in advertising for tourism. I think it's a very fruitful thing through our work in fine art. Maha, would you please tell us about graffiti art and its importance in documenting events? How do you perceive it, and how do you think its importance? Of course, it's emerged since the pharaonic ages, and it was used to document their culture. We are trying to follow their method with more developed ways and tools. Our street art is going to boost tourism, is going to show to the world how this country is, what are the main characteristics that distinguish it. It's a strong culture, and so on. Ali, would you please tell me about your ambitions for the future? We have, of course, we are trying to appear more professional. We are working a lot on adopting many means and methods. We are trying to, of course, we aspire for being spread worldwide. Of course, we would like to show and portray the sites and locations we have been educated in, and the culture we extracted, the background we emerged from. Of course, we aspire for working on a huge project that resonates around the world through, like the portrait we are speaking about. What would you like to tell the youth from your place here? I would like to tell them that you can all, each and every person can find his own incentive, can achieve his aspiration and dreams through perseverance. Now we're going to have a break and then we will return.
شايفين هنا طبعا موهبة حقيقية.
It's a natural talent. The portrait is very close to reality. So
كلمة بقى أخيرة
we would like to have a
تقولها
final
للشباب
word.
من
What would you like to say to the youth? I would like to tell them that they shouldn't. They should follow their dream. They should develop it more, and God willing, they will have a great opportunity, and Allah will support them. Maha Jamil, Ali Abd, and Ali Abd Fatah, I would like to thank you for having you today here, and wishing you good luck in all your projects. We, of course, are delighted to see you always and to see your talent. I would like to thank you again.
Dear viewers, with this we come to the end of this edition of Today's Youth. Many thanks for watching, and don't forget to join us next week, same time. Till then, it's goodbye.